to Inside the Cellar Studio on this Memorial Day weekend. Video still going out as normal on Sunday. It's currently Sunday morning because we always record the day of. We do not pre-record because we're not that proactive about things. I wanted to start, since the last official weekend of May has passed for garage sales. That would have been yesterday because June 1st is next Saturday. Back in early April, we had talked about tracking our garage sales, the number of garage sales we've gone to, and the amount of sales that we bought stuff from to see like what our percentage is. So we've been doing that over the last 8 weeks. This number may be somewhat of an estimation because there were times when we forgot to track. And so we could only track the number that we bought things from because we do keep receipts, but we couldn't keep the number of ones that we went to and didn't buy anything. But I do think we got as accurate as we possibly could. April and May is the big garage sale weekends for neighborhoods in the spring. So I do feel like that impacted the number a little bit. Over the last 8 weeks, we've gone through 199 garage sales. Does that seem like, is that a lot or is that not a lot?
You couldn't just estimate 200.
Well, no, because I had counted and it was at 199. So I felt like, we had estimated enough. I was going to count that. Do you think that's a lot for 8 weeks? I don't know what the average is. Like there were some weekends we went to
8 weeks. It's only 25 a week.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that's.
You don't think that's a lot?
No.
Now, of those 199, we actually bought things at 55 of those garage sales. That brings our percentage to 27%. That is more than I thought. I thought it would be less than 25%. Because, let's just talk for yesterday. At yesterday's garage sales, for example, we went to 5 or 6 garage sales, and we bought things from 1 garage sale.
Mm-hmm.
So that's way less than 25%. But I guess, the big neighborhood weekends where we were buying things from almost every sale really bumped up that number. So I think that's pretty interesting. That was pretty fun to track it and see what the percentage is during the spring. I'm not going to keep tracking it because I don't really care. We only kept track because John wanted to know if I thought we were lucky with the things that we found at garage sales. And I said, no, it's because we go to a ton of garage sales. So I feel like...
I don't even feel like we go to a ton. I feel like people go to more.
Really?
Yeah.
If you guys go to garage sales and you're watching this video, leave a comment with how many you go to on an average weekend. I'm genuinely curious now how many garage sales people go to. So as I said, we only went to 6 this weekend. We did not record because we knew it was going to be a really rough weekend. We typically scout out Friday nights and drive around to see if there's any noticeable signs or neighborhood garage sales, and there was next to nothing when we drove around. The one thing that we did pick up, which is the thing that I think neither of us really want, is clothing. We've picked up a lot of clothing this spring, and I don't know how I feel about it. Clothing's a staple to have in your store because it always sells as long as you buy, I guess, the right clothing. But it's not fun. There's no fun factor in clothing. But yeah, we bought 39 pieces and we paid $50, which was less than what the clothing was marked. But that made us then have to come home and really go through our totes for what we had listed. We didn't have a spring garage sale, so we haven't finished pulling the items that have been in our store long enough that we're ready to see them go. One of those items, or one of those grouping of items, was the Loot Crate shirts that we had bought for less than $25, I think. We had almost 100 of them, and then we weeded through them as we washed them. We started running a sale on them, and they were 50% off, so $2.50. The sale ran for almost 2 weeks. We sold 2 of them. Several gained watchers, which is kind of just annoying, so we just decided we're going to pull it. I'm done with it. We ended up pulling 21 of them. However, only 20 were listed, which is another thing. We only do a real inventory probably once a year, usually in the spring. And we always find things that are not listed, even though we remember listing them. So I don't remember how many items we pulled, maybe 5 or 6 out of all of our clothing bins. Some of them just immediately went with the donate pile, and some of them got pulled to actually list again because we don't know what happened, and they should sell. But we are redoing the clothing totes. I'm redoing the clothing totes so that I know where everything is to pull it, because I am still pulling all of the orders, so I want everything my way.
Not that I'm the most unorganized person in the world.
No.
She sure makes it sound like that. She makes it sound like that to me all the time. I just had my own system.
Yeah.
She has her own system, and she thinks she's going to be doing more eBay in the coming future.
Well, for sure, pulling the orders and like moving the totes around as they are heavy. So I just want it my way, and they all.
Mine was organized.
It was organized for your way, which I could not have found a lot of things.
My way. I had a men's tote. I had a women's tote. Weird stuff. She has a women's tote and a men's tote.
Some of your stuff got mixed.
That's called.
Plus, I like the women's to be in pink totes and the men's to be in blue totes, and I like our listed stuff to be in clear totes that you can see through, and non-listed stuff to be in the black totes that you can't see through. Just in case I misplaced something, I can look in the tote. I don't know. It's just what I like. But yeah, we've been doing a mix of listings of things that we're bringing home from garage sales and still going through our shelves. I think we're like right at 50% of one of the shelves that's now listed. There's empty space on it. I feel like we're making really good progress. I know we'll be able to finish it by the end of summer and go through all of the totes, because we will be not going to garage sales when it's 100 degrees outside, because it's just it's not worth it.
They also won't be happening.
That's true.
You can't go to one that doesn't happen.
That's true. We did finally decide. John decided the dates that we're going to put our store on vacation mode so that we can just take a break and then get back to reorganizing things. So it's going to start next Sunday so that we have some time to ship things out that week, and then it'll be a week and a half roughly, and then we'll start it back up and hopefully we're ready to go. So we've been really pumping out the listings last week and this week to get all of the random stuff listed. Would you say the random stuff, the stuff that's not on a shelf to be listed, it's just kind of sitting in the floor in the way, so that we're not just continually moving it, we're getting it listed and getting it out of here.
It's a lot of our stuff from our most recent garage sales.
Mm-hmm.
Like the older stuff is up on shelves, organized in totes and whatnot, but the stuff when we just carry it in the garage and lay it down, that's all the stuff we got listed. Mm-hmm. We have a few handful of things over my left shoulder that I need to get listed, but for the most part, we've got almost everything listed that we purchased in most of our, I would say, last 3 or 4 weeks of garage sales.
Just some clothing that we're still waiting on. Some of it may need to be washed. Some of it just needs to be listed. Clothing's just not always fun to list. But we have been selling things that have been sitting on the shelf for a while, and that's always really exciting. Discovering new things and then having it sell. One of the things that I do have on my list to talk about is how do you feel when resellers buy the stuff from us to resell and make a profit? Like, we've bought it to resell it, and then resellers buy it to sell it and make a profit. I don't care personally. The only time it really bothers me is if it's listed on eBay and they just continually make lowball offers when it's already priced at what it sells. Do you have any problem with resellers?
Mm-mm.
Like, we're happy to see it go. Last week we had talked about the Houston Oilers chalk line jacket that we had bought, the satin jacket. It was really cool. John thought it was really small, but it was actually bigger than he thought it was.
It was a men's extra large, or modern day large.
So, yeah, he tried it on and was wearing it around the house. We did not attempt to clean it because we don't know how to clean satin and make it look good, and we were worried we were going to damage it. We paid $5 for it. I don't know what you ended up listing it for.
$150.
With best offer. A best offer came in for $120. We couldn't be more excited to accept it. Of course, we looked at the person's store because when we sell the unique stuff, I looked at it. We like to look and see who's buying it because we're super curious and we're really nosy. And this person specializes in selling vintage chalkline jackets. Super cool. They have the coolest ones. They've sold them. Some of them go as high as $900. I don't know that they bought this necessarily to resell. I have a feeling that they did, so I did save their store because I want to see if they clean it up and how much they list it for and if they sell it. I think that's really exciting. I'm happy for them if they can. We obviously made a killing profit, so I think they will as well with their jacket. John, you act nonchalant, but sometimes you look too.
Sometimes.
I want a message, but I never message because I don't know like how friendly they are.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
You're just being weird.
Then I don't want to be that weirdo. The final thing I have from us, we haven't talked about it. Are we going to run like a 1-day Memorial Day sale in our store? I know we have a couple different promotions running right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to do any kind of promotion?
We have a bunch of small ones.
Okay.
To run a big one, there wouldn't be enough stuff to add to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got something.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to vacation mode because this past week, eBay has been a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of eBay, the company itself, and then the buyers. We've had 3 buyers open returns, which we accept returns. It
seems to always happen in threes. It's weird.
And one of them was a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing shoes, but they don't fit right. Okay? Can't argue that. Send them back. We're still waiting on that. The next one, the individual purchased 6 video games. It was a huge hassle. Wanted a better price on them overall. Also wanted combined shipping, which we do combine shipping. Mm-hmm. It's just if it works or doesn't work. So it was a real headache to get them sold anyways. Well, then he wanted to return. He only really needed to return 4 of them.
Because he didn't like the outside
And he would have kept 2 of them. But he already left us positive feedback stating that they all play perfectly. He was super happy. But then I guess based off our pictures, which I take very detailed pictures, he thought he could clean them up better. And he couldn't because what was on them was, damage to the shell. So then he wanted to return them all. So then he opened 6 individual returns.
Where the initial order came through as one order.
Yeah.
That's where I'm confused that eBay let it happen, that it was 6 separate returns.
Yeah, because he had actually done it as a one purchase, not 6 individual purchases that we put all in one box. It was one purchase, 6 items. Mm-hmm. But then he opened up a return and returned 6 individual items with 6 individual return shipping labels because he put as defective, non-working, which was not true. They all work. They still work. They're back. He said they worked. He just didn't like the outer condition. The other thing that really just irritated me was he posted a picture of the one that was the quote-unquote worst outer shell condition, which was pictured, but he used that as his return or his reasoning picture on all 6 games, which all 6 games don't look like that. Only one of them did. It's approved. We do accept returns. It's not a big deal. It's just the fact that I thought I was going to have to pay 6 individual. I keep saying 7 because he wanted 7 games, but one of them sold before he could get it. Whoops. But I was extra irritated that I was going to have to pay 6 individual return shipping labels and refund him money. That makes the whole deal non-profitable. Like, we're just losing everything by that point.
Awesome.
He did send it all back in the same box, the same way we shipped it to him, with one label, which I'm shocked the post office didn't throw a fit. So then he still had 5 open returns that weren't accepted. We had messaged eBay asking them, how do we refund him because of all these weird scenarios.
We had already refunded bulk of the shipping right after the sale because eBay didn't charge combined shipping like we have it set up to. We still haven't figured out why it's not charging it correctly. But because the games were so cheap, like $3 to $5 games, we still had we had to do refunds on every single individual game. So we already had that refund out there. And then reaching out to eBay 3 different times actually, and none of the reps really understood the issue. They couldn't understand what the buyer was doing. The first rep was the most helpful, even though she couldn't do anything for me, and she was just like, well, you have to report the buyer if they are misusing it, and then you have to call us back when you get the item back. Everyone was really confused that the buyer opened 6 return cases, but then shipped it all back as 1, and then there was just confusion with that as well. So the second time I had called eBay, and I had told them this, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, let's open a claim to get the defect removed. Well, no, not to get the defect removed. They were opening a claim to see what else they could do. And then not even probably 10 minutes later, we got a message that though we accepted the return, we refused to refund them. Even though that wasn't the case at all. We weren't even past the deadline. The rep had told me not to refund them yet until we had figured out what we were supposed to refund. So eBay initiated the first refund, but not on the whole order.
So the buyer escalated the claim, stating that we were refusing to refund him. eBay came in and went ahead and pushed the refund through, which is funny because they only refunded 1 of the games because that's how he sent it back.
And they said we were done.
He said, yeah, they said we were done. That because he didn't send the others back in their system, we didn't have to refund him.
But that's wrong, and we could never.
And of course, this eBay buyer was very aware of the situation, decided to message us and ask. He appreciated our refund for the 1 game, but would like the rest back. And then I called eBay asking what to do, and that individual was even more not helpful. Actually,
I guess it was 4 times that we contacted. I forgot.
He just kept telling me that everything will be okay. Just let it work itself out, which doesn't mean anything.
No.
So I just went ahead and refunded him the difference. He had told me, he was nice enough to tell me how much I still owed him.
So you refunded it, but you had to do it each individual game.
And I had to do partials because I had to split it up, the total amongst the 5 games. And then it had to be approved. And it was just a really big headache. And that's just one.
And then we did have to reach out to eBay for Business on Facebook for that because we could tell that, the representatives that you talked to on the phone, English is not their first language. They did not understand exactly what was happening, even though they were like, yes, they speak from a script. They don't really know. So we reached out to eBay for Business, who reviewed all the prior messages from the buyer as well and could see what happened, and they did at least remove the defect on our account where eBay had initially put it saying that we refused the refund because they could see that that was not the case at all. So we did get that reversed.
Yeah.
Yay.
And then we had one more return, which was a Blu-ray, How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah.
The individual messaged us and said, oh, I already have it. I have a huge collection. We accept them, send it on back. We'll get you your refund. It returned, and it had been opened. She opened the brand new item, and then she got a partial because of that. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you didn't mention that in the message. Mm-hmm. It's just a headache. It's just a headache.
Yeah. So we don't really know why it was opened, or I don't know.
Yeah. I would have checked before I ordered it if I needed it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it looks like we now own a copy of How to Train Your Dragon 2.
So yeah, we're definitely excited to just put our store in vacation mode and just not even think about it.
Yeah. I'm tired of customer service right now.
It's hard to be friendly. But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of great sales go without any issues.
Mm-hmm. We've had a ton of sales. This month has been just as good, if not better, than the previous month. We've sold a lot less items. We've raised our ASP, and and we almost have the same sales dollar wise. So
yeah, we'll go over all of that next week as well once we
yeah.
completely finish out the month. But yeah, it's looking to be a really good, really good month. Yeah, that's all I have. Is that all you
Okay,
have?
that's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.